We're going to continue with Perek Yud, Pasuk Yud Gimel. Besifte Navon Timmatze Chochma, in the lips of the intelligent, you will find Chochma will be found. Beshevet Legev Chasar Lev, and the rod, the shevet, Legav Chasar Lev is for, or is ready for the back of the one that is senseless, that doesn't have feelings, that doesn't have a heart.
What does that mean?
We're going to see. Shevet, like it's like the stick that you want to hit. So the Gaon explains the following. Besifte Navon Timmatze Chochma. Says, if you want to find Chochma, go to the Navon. Go to the intelligent, to a smart man. Because somebody that is smart, somebody that has himself Chochma and Bina, because the Navon comes from the word Bina. Yes? Then he will teach you. He will talk to you. He will formulate properly concepts of Chochma, Yesodot Torah. So if you really want to learn properly the Torah, go to someone that is a Navon. As in his mouth, he's constantly learning Torah and teaching Torah.
So, Rabbi, how do you translate Navon? You said
intelligent, smart, but it's someone that a Navon is someone that is known for his bina, for his discernment, his clarity, his understanding. You can have chokhmah, but it's difficult for you to formulate it, right? And understand it in depth. The Navon is someone that takes the chokhmah to a level of bina. And how do we know that? Is because of the way he can express, explain, and articulate the concept of chokhmah. So that's Besifte Navon Timsa Chokhmah. If you want to find the Chokhmah, go to the Navon. He teaches you what to do, how to behave, how to be straight, how to be honest. Veshevet Legav Chasar Lev, and the rod, the stick, is ready for the back of the one that is Chasar Lev. Here comes the Gaon says a chidush. You would think that this pasuk means by the Navon's mouth you find the Chokhmah, and the stick is ready for the Chasar Lev. The Gaon says because of the Vav HaChibur, Ze Shevet Legav Chasar Lev, he wants to learn that this is also part of the knowledge you will learn from the Navon. Meaning in the mouth of the Navon, you not only that you learn Chokhmah, but you also hear the punishment and the outcome of the chasar lev, of the behavior of a chasar lev. And what is the shevet? What is the rod that is expected, or that is ready for the chasar lev? He says these are the yisurim, the pain, the turbulence, right? The collateral damages that come along with the behavior of the chasar lev. And what is the definition of a chasar lev? Somebody that doesn't have a heart. Someone that doesn't have a heart, says again, is someone that doesn't pay attention, that is careless. Someone that doesn't that is careless. Pashut kipshuto mamash. He doesn't care for the Torah. He doesn't care to do the right thing. He's missing that feeling, that conscience that motivates and pushes him to do the right thing and educate himself. The Navon is specifically the one that knows how, the good, but is also aware of the bad. He knows the positive outcome of the Chokhmah and the Torah, and he knows the negative outcome of the Chasar Lev, of being careless. And says the Gaon, why is he called like Chasar Lev? Because the Chasar Lev is the opposite of the Navon. Somebody that has Binah, somebody that cares to take the Chokhmah to a level of Binah, to a level of practice and understanding, you need to care for it. You need to be engaged emotionally and feel the Torah in order to take the Torah from a place of Chokhmah and analyze it in depth. The Gaon says you only analyze what you care for. If you don't care, then you're not going to analyze. Even you're going to think you understand, and that's where you'll stop. Yes? We find a major contrast between these two approaches in business. Someone that is invested in a transaction, he cares for his money. So his due diligence is very, very different than the due diligence of someone that doesn't have skin in the game, because he doesn't care. So when you care, you're forced, you're motivated to analyze in depth what you're studying. So if you care for the Chokhmah, if you care for the Torah, then what you learn, you're going to analyze in depth. So it's an engagement, yes, in Chokhmah that processes the Chokhmah through the Binah. And now, since the Binah, right, discerns and separates and reorganizes the information, you find suddenly you have davar beipucho. You have what you learn, and yeah, you have its contrasts. The Binah tells you, you said you taught me this, right? From lav ani shomea hen, from the no, I learned about the yes, and from the yes, I learned about the no, right? So you have the information, and its flip side. That's what Binah does. So the Navon that cares and understands and appreciates the Torah, that understands and appreciates the Chokhmah, yes, will analyze it through the lens of the Binah. And therefore, you find in his mouth, on one end, the Chokhmah, but on the other end, the Shevet, right, the stick of the Chaser Lev. So says the Gaon, when Shlomo HaMelech talks about the Chaser Lev, he talks about the opposite of the Navon. Shlomo HaMelech doesn't say Siftei Chacham Timatzeh Chokhmah, right? In the lips of the Chacham you will find Chokhmah. No, in the lips of the Navon, because you can be Chacham but not Navon. So the focus of this pasuk is coming to amplify the caring, yes, that a person, the value, the importance a person should have for the Chokhmah. Because the Chaser Lev essentially doesn't care. And if he doesn't care, whatever comes, he does or he doesn't do. The Ramam, yes, if you have a question before I take it to a deeper level.
Please. Why is this different? Why is this pasuk different? That it's coming to help you amplify the chokhmah. We've seen that. Why? Can you explain to me how?
I don't
why
understand the question.
We already know that Chokhmah is important and you have to care for it. We learned,
what is this?
We spent Hakim on it. What's different about this pasuk from what we already learned? Right then?
Yeah.
The same question.
Yeah.
What's so special about this?
Here we're telling Here Shlomo HaMelech is coming to tell you, when you go and you learn Chokhmah, at least the way the Gaon teaches it, yes, the Chokhmah should be taught by a Navon. Number one. Why? Because when you learn your Chokhmah, the Chokhmah by a Navon, you will hear the Chokhmah, but you will also hear what you have to be, stay away from. Yes? The flip side. The Navon masters not only the Chokhmah, but he also masters what the Yetzer Hara does and the outcome of it. From his understanding of the Chokhmah.
I think we know that already, though, no? But you cannot teach until you have Binah as well.
No, זה לא נכון. Since when did we spoke about the Navon until now?
Not the Navon, but have Binah. You cannot teach.
This is until the first of all, we're in the second book of Mishlei that addresses Musar. Right? And the Musar, you learn it from Shevet Gav and Chasar Lev. Right? The first book of Mishlei is the importance of Chokhmah. Yes. Here and how the Chokhmah plays with Binah, etc. All these structures. Here Shlomo HaMelech is coming to teach you something very important. Very important. Like, you would think that if you go to the Chacham to learn Chokhmah and you're good. Yes, that's where you learn Chokhmah from. But if you want to learn the Chokhmah, Davar ve'ipucho, the Chokhmah and what to be protected from, and what to go away from and distance yourself from, this you get from the Navon. And what makes the Navon different than the Chacham is the fact that the Navon has the the way the Gan explained it, right? He cares so much for the Chokhmah that he takes the Chokhmah down to a level that is very deep in the Bina. And that's it. So now he can relate with someone that doesn't care. So now he understands from filling in the gap what the gap looks like when it's not filled in. It's a chokhmah to find some davar be'ipucho in the same house. The Rambam explains al pi Kabbalah, based on the Sfirot, what the Gaon is saying, and Shlomo HaMelech of it. It says like this: the Bina sits at the limit of the Chokhmah, right? As soon as the Chokhmah ends, the Bina starts. You transit from the Sfirat HaChokhmah, and once there's no more Chokhmah, you now enter the Sfirat HaBina. But we also know that they overlap, as we learned in the first Prakim. This is what Tevuna is. Says the Gaon, says the Rambam the following. He says, the Chokhmah represents Torah shebichtav. It's knowledge. Ma katuv, right? What is written? And what is written is Torah shebichtav. The Bina is lama katuv. Why it's written. That's the Bina. So you go from the Ma and you transfer to the Lama. But they overlap to a certain level. So when you put back this in perspective between Emet and Sheker and Tov and Ra, Chokhmah is Emet and Sheker. Chokhmah is what is Emet and what is Sheker. The Torah is Torah Emet. Yes? So from the Torah, you know, this is Emet and this is Sheker. But the Tov and the Ra, the good and the bad, which is subjective, this is not coming from Torah Shebichtav. What's subjective is the Torah Shebe'al Peh. Yes? It's the evolving of the Torah Shebichtav and the extrapolation from the Torah Shebichtav of what is good and bad. So the good and the bad you learn from your Bina, you distinct it from your Bina, and the Emet and the Sheker you learn from your Chokhmah. And the Rambam wants to say this is why we have the Sfatayim, we have two Safat, right? We have two lips. We have one, the upper lip represents the Chokhmah, and the lower lip represents the Bina. But in order to speak and to teach and to articulate, you need both. You need both. This is exactly what the Gaon comes to teach us. He said, learns in this pasuk. The Gaon comes to tell us, if you want to articulate, if you want to teach, if you want to understand, you want to use your lips, you want to use your mouth, you need the Chokhmah and the Bina together. This Yesod, we've learned it already. Yes? But the benefit that we get from this Yesod are two things, twofold. Number one, that this is what a student should look for in a master, in a teacher. And number two, it's a one-stop shop. Why? Because you don't need to go to someone else to come and learn about the Yetzer Hara, and the collateral damages and the negative outcomes of failing. Why? Because the Navon, through his sensitivity and the caring for the Torah, masters the Chokhmah through his Binah. And therefore, through his Binah, can already know and learn what will be the dark side of being careless. And the Gaon adds and says more, and says when you when you go to the Navon will know how to rebuke you and hurt you enough so that you're in pain and for you to care. He will know how to tickle your nefesh, how to turn you on so that you can be sensitive enough on your own to now address your chokhmah, the chokhmah that you are taught, with the bina and care, and the proper care, proper level of care. So he adds on another layer, right? Not only that you learn the Torah, the chokhmah, and the bina, not only that you hear the flip side of the chokhmah, but also now the Navon can trigger in you an awakening of interest and care, so that you also, when you approach your chokhmah, you approach your chokhmah with enough care that your bina will analyze, yes, this the chokhmah that you taught to become part of you the way it's supposed to be.
Is this message to us that we need to seek out the Navon?
Do we need what?
Do we need to seek out the Navon while we are processing our Chokhmah, or at least trying to? Like, is this a requirement?
What means seek out the Navon? You mean to develop bina or to look for the Navon? What do you mean by?
Should we be looking for a Navon to help us
Yes.
make sure that we are processing our Chokhmah properly and using our dot, just getting to the right place?
That's a benefit the Navon has. Yes. Yes. It's not mandatory, but these are the benefits you get from the Navon. That he will know how to rebuke you, he will know on which chord to strike, to turn you on. He'll know how to rebuke. He'll teach you the outcome of being careless and insensitive, on top of teaching you the chokhmah. Good. You learn the next pasuk. Pasuk Yud Dalet. Chachamim yitzpenu da'at. The Chachamim, the wise, stores da'at. Stores knowledge. Upi evil, but the mouth of the fool, mechita kerova, is mechita is like a ruin, like a destruction. Kerova is close to being erased, to being destroyed. Says the Gaon the following: the Chacham is someone that understands that understanding alone is not enough. You need to learn to retain what you understand and store it and internalize it and compartmentalize it in your brain so that it is accessible and available at all time. That's Chachamim Yitzpenu Da'at. Says the Gaon, they're careful not to forget. And here's something very interesting is revealed by Shlomo Melech in the terminologies that he uses. How do you remember? And how do you retain information that is important, i.e. your chokhmah, through the da'at? Meaning, it's once you've taken this chokhmah and processed it through the bina and brought it to a practical outcome and purpose, which is the da'at. Once it's something that's practical in front of you, and you know how to implement it in your life and apply it, that you can now retain it properly in your brain and your memory, and now have access to it. Why? Because through your senses and the forecast of your brain to implement that information, you have now points of references of that knowledge that are close to you, close to your senses, yes, close to your nefesh, that you can go back and retain and pull out of your memory. So a simple idea you might forget. An idea that you've understood properly and analyzed, you might remember, but maybe not clearly. But once you've applied that knowledge practically or assessed it enough that it's ready to be applied, says Shlomo Melech, this you retain. So it's a continuation of Pasuk Yud Gimel, that don't only stop to be a Navon, but the Navon also uses his Da'at. Yes, what he teaches you and what he tells you is through the Tevuna, it's through the Bina, it's because he's a Navon. But he's retaining it because of his Da'at. That's Chachamim Yitzpenu Da'at. And that's how you create the full circle of Chacham, Navon, and Bar Da'at. Shlomo Melech is going to tell you, you cannot have Chokhmah alone. You cannot stop at Bina, because if you want to retain information, you need your Da'at. And when you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. Because what you've experienced, you never forget. Anything that stays in theory, you might forget. But once you apply something practically, this stays forever. This is Chachamim Yitzpenu Da'at. Ufi Evil, but the mouth of the fool, Mechita Korova, is a close ruin, it's a close destruction. Now pay attention here, it doesn't say the Siftei Evil, the lips of the Evil. It says the mouth, Belashon Yahid. Says the Gaon, what is the definition of an Evil, of a fool? It says the fool is an extension of the petty. The petty, the Gaon brings a beautiful explanation in the beginning of Mishlei, in Aleph Pasuk Lamed Bet. He says, what's the definition of a petty? Again, ha'olech shovav bederech libo is somebody that is completely careless and is reactive. All the bederech libo is what his emotion takes him to. Yeah, the way he reacts is so instinctive and reactional, and without any strategy and clarity and chokhmah. Yes, that's the petty. And the petty, you can only be a petty, you can only be reactional and instinctive and not retained and wise if you don't have Yirat Hashem, if you don't fear. Only somebody that's careless will be reactional and not think. Anybody that has a little bit of fear of Yirat Hashem will always retain himself from acting and think. That's the definition of a petty. A evil is a form of petty that also doesn't think, but he's a fool. He's like, he has the ability and he's not using it. Meaning he has a little bit of heart. He's a little bit, he can be caring. He can be sensitive. But he doesn't, he's lazy. He's lazy to want and use his heart to care and be fearful and sensitive and caring. That's the evil. So the evil, because he is careless and because he is lazy, even what he has, he will destroy. Meaning
he's worse than the petty.
He's worse than the petty.
Because he has
the opportunity, he has the potential. And this is why ufi evil mechita karova, the mouth of the evil, meaning what he can say, yes, his potential, his pay. It's only the potential. Mechita karova brings destruction, brings ruins. Easy to dismiss, easy to destroy, to let go, to give up. Says the Gaon, afilu ma shelamad veragil ksad befiv, even what he has learned and he has internalized in his behavior, gam lezeh mechita karova, even this he will destroy. Because of this hybrid mix between the laziness and the insensitivity, the careless. And comes the Gaon and tells us something beautiful. He says, you can identify and pinpoint the Evil and the Chacham. You can sense if someone is a Chacham, and you can sense if someone is a Evil, is a fool. What's the difference between the two? He says, Chachamim mitzpenu da'at. Le'atzpin means to hide, to collect, to store, but also to protect, to store. The Chacham, he doesn't share everything he knows. He holds back. And he holds more than what he shares. Because of how much he values the Torah, he's very careful with what he will share because it needs to be shared the right way, the proper way, and it has to be taught the accurate way. Therefore, most of his chokhmah, most of his da'at, tzvuna, is held in his heart. lives within him. However, the fool, the evil, he cannot hold back. Whatever he has inside, he vomits. He has an emotion, he says it. He has a feeling, he says it. Eno yachol le'astir belibo. He cannot hold in, retain anything. Motzi techef befiv. The second he has something in his heart, it has to come out. And because it's coming out reactionally, emotionally, says the Gaon, he destroys. Because not everything should be said to everyone at every time. At any time. And this is the result of being careless and lazy. So says the Gaon, if you want to know if someone has laziness and carelessness within him, then he's going to be polite. You know, he cannot retain anything. He throws out everything out there without thinking what the outcome can be. But when you find someone, Mechila, when you find someone that is retained, reserved, that thinks, that's careful when he speaks, yes, then you find in that person the substance and the ingredients to chokhmah. And obviously after that, to each their own level, yes? Yes, Matan.
Why is the Evil lazy? I don't understand that aspect.
Because he has the ability to build and chooses not to. Yes.
But the person that's foolish, it's because he became foolish. Everyone has the potential to either be chacham or a fool.
Nachon.
So it's not that it's because of his actions they cause him to be lazy.
It's what?
Because of his actions.
Yeah, but what led to it? He's careless and he doesn't want to maintain and carry what he already has. Okay, that's the laziness.
Because he doesn't work on himself?
Yes. You have a potential and you don't develop it. You've attained something. You were taught things. You were raised with a chinuch. And you let go. Why do you let go? Because you're lazy. Because you're careless. Somebody that is not lazy, somebody that has illness, that somebody that is reactive, that is in tune with his life, he understands that he has to at least retain what he owns. Yes? Good. So here the Gaon again adds a layer to the pasuk that we've learned earlier and introduces the importance of the da'at to retain information properly. Explains us that when you have da'at also, you know what to share and what not to share. And when you share it with accuracy and properly to whom you're teaching, to your audience, or to any situation that you're in. And all that is because of the level of care that you nurture as a chacham. And the flip side to that, is the evil. Is the one that is careless, that couldn't care less, or yes, that doesn't have Yirat Hashem, that doesn't have enough fear to care, and with the mix of laziness and insensitivity, will go and destroy whatever is left of him. Good. How valuable and important it is to care. How valuable and vital it is to care. How important it is to work on caring and work on our Yirat Hashem. Because if you fear, you care. And if you care, you fear. And that puts you on your toe, that wakes you up, brings you to life, to now learn and retain and build. And this is an avodah that we need to work on our children since they're small. The midah, the trait of value, the simat lev. When you see a behavior of being careless, of not respecting, appreciating, valuing little things, yes, then you allow your child to grow this careless behavior. When a child reacts, that means he cares, it's good. Even if it's not the right thing, it doesn't matter. But if a child cares, it's a sign of life. Rabbi David El-Aluf, Shlita, Yizacher Letov, he told me once something before. He said, and I said many times in my shurim, he said, if you take a machat, you take a machat is a, what do you call it?
A needle.
A needle.
A needle. And you poke a piece of meat, yes, that is dead, the meat doesn't move. When you take a needle and you poke someone, the guy will jump, yes. When there's a reaction, there is life. When there's a reaction, there is care. But when you don't see any reaction, or you don't see echpatiyut, caring, that's when it's becoming very dangerous in the chinuch. Rabbi Yerucham Mechila, in his Hidushim al Torah, teaches us something also beautiful. He says that value is a midah, it's a trait. It's not determined by the item. When you have the midah, when you value, everything becomes important. It's irrelevant if it's expensive, not expensive, disposable, not disposable. But if you don't have the midah, if you don't have the value, then anything is not important. Then you can dispose, throw, dismiss anything. Situations, items, it's okay, it's not important. Says Rabbi Yerucham, we need to learn to develop the midat ha'erech, to value, the trait of value. This is something we must install in our children. How? It's not because a plastic cup is used, that means that you can just play, or it's a plastic cup, you can play and crush it and before it's used, or even after it's used. It's not because it's a pencil that's worth maybe 50 cents that you can play with it and break. It's not because there is a little bit left of a crayon that let's dismiss it. And it's not being cheap. It's not being cheap. It's creating the midah of value. Respect and value everything. If you learn to respect and value, everything will be important in your life. But if not, then eventually, even what's important and crucial may be dismissed. How many people do we know that lo alenu, right, because of their careless personality, ended up destroying everything around them? This
Rabbi,
is what Shlomo Melech is teaching us. Yes.
I heard that this is one of the main problems of the generation. Everyone thinks that everything's disposable.
Disposable, nachon. Absolutely.
If it's,
Absolutely.
from plates, yani, if it doesn't work, okay, I'll just change it.
Absolutely. This is the Yetzer Hara. This is the Yetzer Hara of our generation. Absolutely.
Had this conversation yesterday with my wife. Purim costumes for children. My kids
No.
want 2, 3 costumes. So they can wear one to one party, another one to another party, and another one to school.
No, that's different.
But
If
it's
there
not
is,
different.
no, I'll tell
See?
you. I'll tell you.
Why?
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. If there is a purpose to each costume for each event, I can understand.
No, they just want to have multiple ones.
But if it's just for the pleasure of having and
Yeah.
throwing, and that's a different thing. You understand?
That's not teaching them the value. One.
Davdavka, I disagree. By having only one, you don't teach value. Because you can also have 3 and teach value. But
How?
if, for example, because you wore it, then it has to go to garbage. It was worn, it has to go to garbage. But one second, you want to be a police officer, and your brother wanted to be a police officer, and he wore it. So what? Because he wore it, you cannot wear it. But it costs $20. It doesn't matter that if it costs $10 or $100. Is it a police officer outfit? You can wear it. It's your size. Wear it. This is value. Now, if in one event it's he wants to be with all his friends and he wants to be a police officer, and then he wants to go to shul and he wants to be Mordechai Yehudi, and at home during the party he wants to be a phantom. Okay, that's a different story. We also have to learn, how to apply the chinuch of that midah. But I agree that if, or for no reason, because I wore it once, so I cannot wear it twice. Yeah, go tell your wife because she wore a dress at a wedding, tell her, wear it again. It's good midot of the value. She's gonna throw it out of the house. She's gonna tell you, no, no. There is application of that trait of that midah. But this is what Shlomo Melech is coming to teach us. This is what the Gaon is emphasizing on in this psukim. To introduce the importance and the value of care. Caring starts when the children are young. Because then it becomes a gangrene that can destroy someone's life. I think we're gonna stop here. I want to do one more pasuk, but I have a meeting at 12, so we're gonna stop here. Be'ezrat Hashem. We did Yud Gimel Yud Dalet. The next pasuk it's a different message, but also a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful message that adds on to what we've said, but can live without, can live alone in next year. Be'ezrat Hashem. Everything clear? We're good. Any other questions?
Beautiful. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Beruchim tihiyu.
I love the practical applications in this sefer. The musar and the practical applications to our everyday lives.
Yes, that's the second Mishlei. It's very, very applicable, very practical. בעזרת השם, בשם השם נעשה ונצליח. טוב.